Well, our long-term viewers, you might actually notice that here we are back in our old YouTube studio. We're back in the dining room.
This is where it all began.
Yes, it is.
So anyway, we just absolutely love these video sessions that we do.
We do.
And we're so grateful to all of you for joining us. We do look forward to this every week.
We do.
So what are we going to talk about today, Teen?
I think it's got to be some of those lessons we've learned, Norm, that perhaps we'd have been better off if we'd have known before we retired.
Part of our story, and we've touched on a few points of this in the past, but the real story is I retired between 54 and 55 from my main career as a sales representative. I was self-employed, a sales agent, being a representative for multiple manufacturers selling to retailers. Tina was a sales representative as well, working for a company, selling computer supplies to the federal government in Ottawa and various other high-tech companies. At 55, I'd had enough of selling on the road. The industry was changing, and it just wasn't fun anymore, and selling always used to be fun for me. So the photography that I was doing, stock photography, stock video, had replaced my salary, so I didn't have to drive around 50 to 60,000 kilometers every year to earn a living. I had a studio at home. We used to photograph in the studio as well as on location as well. At that point, Tina should have retired. But at the time, it was a huge step for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I will be honest, and I couldn't see us being retired. I couldn't personally see myself in this retirement new chapter of our life. It was funny because I always thought that it was just old people that retired, and I didn't think that I was old in my mid-50s. I thought we had to wait till...
You were still very charming and beautiful, Tina.
So I couldn't visualize being retired. That was the problem. So yes, I am to blame that we could have possibly retired maybe 3 years earlier had I been able to see us retired, which I couldn't.
What we're really trying to share is there is a mindset.
Yes.
It's not fear of retirement. It's not the fear of losing your career, losing your identity. It's a mindset that you have to be able to accept yourself. And I easily could do it because I'd been a sales rep since I was 18 years old, on the road, selling, and loved every minute of it until I didn't. Tina, I think you felt you still had more to offer, didn't you?
Yeah. It was, the timing just didn't feel right for me. I thought I could do more things. But once we had the conversation about retiring, and I sort of gave us a sort of 2-year window, wasn't it? So mentally, I managed to picture it when we put the house up for sale, and it did take us about 18 months to sell the house. So that fitted in with me mentally accepting it all. In
hindsight, looking back from where we are now as being retired 7 years, in hindsight, we should have done it, but we didn't. And so we're really just trying to warn you that the money was never going to be an issue for us because we'd already, since our early 20s, always regarded the house as being our retirement savings plan. So it was no big deal to sell it. We conditioned ourselves all those years. In the end, we'd sell the house and retire. And we did that. So we could have done that 3 years earlier. It wasn't the money that was holding Tina back. It was the mental process of crossing that boundary from being in the workforce to being not in the workforce. And bearing in mind, Tina and I had been working ever since we left school.
Yeah. We definitely did our fair share of working, didn't we?
It was it was a long, long ingrained career. So we're just saying to you, be careful about wasting those good years of retirement. If you can retire at 55, 56, 57, and the numbers will work for you, do it, because those are vital years. You're healthy, you're ready to travel or do whatever you want to do.
And that kind of brings us back to the fact that now we're going to get a lot more back into travelling, aren't we, Norm?
We are, and the one thing that one of our secret weapons to planning these trips is to use a VPN. And we use NordVPN to do the research. So when we go on Booking.com or Airbnb, VRBO, looking for accommodation in Portugal for the winter time, we use it through a VPN, and then they're no longer able to track us or put a cookie on our computer which locks in the price that they previously quote. This is especially good for cruises because cruise companies have dynamic pricing. Depending on how many bookings per hour per day they get, they adjust the price. If it's going bad, they reduce the price. If it's going good, they increase it. NordVPN is your secret weapon that they cannot see the price they quoted you in any of the cookies that they put on, the tracking cookies, to your computer.
And I think another thing too, Norm, is we like the security. Often when we're away, we'll log into our banking, won't we?
Well, we have to. We're away so long.
Yeah. So if there's the odd bill we need to make sure that gets paid, or we need to check things, it gives us that extra security knowing that with the VPN, we feel a lot safer, don't we?
We do indeed. And if you, like us, have multiple devices, we have iPads, we have laptops, we have a streaming device that we stream our TV through, which is the NVIDIA Shield. We can put a link to that in the description. It's an app that will go down, you download on each one of those, and gives you an added level of protection. And if you'd like to try NordVPN, they're very generously going to give you a 30-day trial for free. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you can get your money back. So nothing to lose, but everything to gain. So thanks, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video. We only have one cartoon.
Yes, we do, Norm. And it's no big deal, is it?
None whatsoever.
And what a little bit of advice would be, we should have got rid of our second car a lot earlier.
You're probably getting the impression around about now that we're procrastinators.
Yeah.
And you'd be right.
It kind of takes us, we come up with the idea, but it actually takes us a long time to follow through with the idea.
So we did downsize. Yeah. As Tina said, our house took around 18 months to sell. It was out in the countryside. So we had 18 months to downside. It wasn't long enough. No. We thought we did a great job in downsizing, but we didn't.
No.
We brought way too much stuff with us to the apartment. And one of the things we should have downsized was the car.
Yeah, although it was handy in the move, Norm, because as well as the removal van, we filled both cars with stuff. And we drove down, didn't we?
And one of them was a big SUV, and that was packed to the gills.
But we should have got rid of one. And then by the time we moved in here, it took us, probably nearly 18 months to decide the second car has to go. Once we'd got rid of it, things worked out a lot better, and you save so much money. It works great.
It is, but it's just one of those things that, do you need it or do you want it? Yeah. And we felt we didn't need it anymore. Having two cars became more of a problem. Yeah. We would have to rent 2 parking spaces in the apartment.
Yeah, and one would have to keep moving the other out before.
That's right. So, yeah, get rid of that extra car, and you're doing your bit to save the environment too.
Yes, you are.
Driving less.
I think another thing too, Norm, one of the biggest things that we probably didn't do quick enough was getting rid of the debt before we retired. We did have debt and we did get rid of it with the sale of the house. But it's a process that if you can look into in sort of the 2 or 3 years coming up to retirement, actively get rid of that debt is a big thing, I think.
I think we should have, looking back
Yeah.
to that age of, I was 55 and Tina's 2 years younger than me, we should have worked harder at paying debt down than we did. We got rid of the mortgage, which was a great achievement, but the line of credit was there. That was, and that was all incurred primarily maintaining the house.
Yeah.
We had to put a new roof on, new garage doors.
That sort of stuff.
You get the idea. We should have started spending less, consuming less in our mid-50s and putting that money towards debt repayment. We should have maybe gone to Costco less.
Yeah, that's true, hey?
And still buying consumable items. We've learned our lesson now in retirement.
Yeah.
Tina came up the other day just saying, is it something we need or is it something we want?
Yeah, and that when you look at things like that, it's a great way of deciding whether you need it or not, eh?
I want a new camera.
Is it a need or a want? No.
Oh, I think it's a want.
One last thing I think is coming up to retirement, everybody is so focused on having to save enough money, getting the biggest nest egg and things like that.
Oh, that's the $1 million nest egg.
But it's a myth. That is not true. You need to concentrate more on what is going to be the monthly amount of money that you need. And that can come from Canada pension plan, from
Social Security, old age pension, British pensions if you work there.
Any of those income streams that come in per month, that's what I think you really need to focus more on.
That's what we firmly believe. Having been retired for these 7 years, we see the key, which we never saw prior to retirement, is income first, capital second.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, we haven't touched our capital. Other than a few trips early on in retirement, we haven't taken any of the house money as income. We get enough income from our Canadian pension plan, our old age pension plan, and our British pension, old age pension. And we make do on that for daily living. It clears our rent, it pays our food.
Yeah.
And we think you need to put more emphasis onto where's your income coming from and how much is it going to be, rather than having this esoteric belief that you need 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million. If you do that, you'll never have enough in your own mind.
I think you'll always be chasing, is it enough?
Chasing unicorns.
But chasing it never will be enough, because you'll find another reason to say, oh, it's not enough, we need to work 1 more year. And you will take away those precious years and that time that you can't buy back.
And those healthy years as well, because you can't buy your health back.
No.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.